we got a package from SDG Custom Lurecraft. Hey guys, welcome back to Bait and Tackle. I am your host, Joe Frank, and today we are going to do a collaboration video with SDG Lurecraft and Epic Bait Molds. So excited for this, guys. Let's tear into this. I'm going to tell you all what we're going to do and explain to you a little bit about what this bait is. Alright, so we got this awesome Chatterbait from Adam over at SDG Custom Lurecraft. Amazing. He put some blue holograph stickers on the blade itself. Very cool. And he did a great job making this jig. It's just a simple black and blue jig. And it has the skirt tied on to the actual jig head. So that's one thing that I do not do in my shop currently, is I do not tie jig skirts, and I don't tie flies or any of that kind of stuff, which I would like to get into. So at some point, Adam, I'm going to be coming to you for a lot of help. So keep that in mind, buddy. But beautiful job. I can't wait to match this up. So we are going to do a color match with this. I've had a lot of luck with black and blue recently, and I told Adam, I said, I want to do a little video with you, maybe do a black and blue jig for me, so that way I can try this thing out if I'm traveling again for work and I got time to throw this around. But he did a great job. I see a little bit of flash boo in there. Awesome. I mean, it is an incredible little chatterbait. So we're going to set this off to the side and now talk about the other part of the collaboration of this video, Epic Bait Molds. And it is a 4.4-inch ShadderBait, and this is a 3-cavity mold. Let me show you. And it also has the back and belly, just like what everybody wants. Then that way you know what to do when you're doing your laminates and your two-colored injections. Very, very awesome designed mold. This mold is obviously very pretty. They do a great job with their packaging. They do a great job keeping it looking pretty. They do a good job keeping it looking great. They pay attention to a lot of the details. You can see all the fine work of the air venting through the mold itself. Jason does an excellent job making sure that you get a good quality bait. Now, the other side of this mold, and this is the part that I'm most excited about, a lot of the new molds that Jason has been developing come with the hook slot or delete. So if you face the hook slot, if you face the piece of aluminum up, now you have a hook slot in the bait. If you flip it over, now you have a delete. So there is no hook slot at the bottom. Now this one is a hook slot that stays in the top of the bait. So when you put your hook through the bait, the hook will come up and ride in that pocket. Then that way it's more or less weedless. So that is an awesome feature of this bait. The other really cool part about this bait that I like is this was designed to go on the back of a chatterbait, obviously. That's why it's called the ShadderBait. But the tail is very, very unique in the fact that it has two tiny paddle tails, not just one, but two. One on the top, one on the bottom, and they're little paddle tails to give you a little bit of flutter in the back, but it does not impede with the chatterbait at all. So very, very cool, gives you a little bit of action in the tail, still makes it look very fishy and very shad-like, and at the same time does not interfere with the bladed jig. So let's put this together. In this case, I am going to leave it as deleted, so we're going to keep the hook slots out. on the bottoms, and obviously just keep the top ones. I guess if you really wanted to, you could take the top ones out, but there's really no need in doing that. So today we are going to do a 2-colored injection. I'm going to do some black and blue. I got to make up some new black and blue. I don't have enough here, so we're going to go ahead and make up some new black and blue. And then we are also going to use like a darker color. It's like a silver flake, but it's very fine. So it's like a very fine silver flake, but dark. So it's going to be 2-part. It's going to be that and that. So it's going to be a very interesting color combo. I can't wait to see what it looks like. The black is really hard to show on film, but we will do our best to show you what these look like. So let's get some plastic heated up and let's get rolling on this thing. All right, so we have our plastic heated up. We're at about 300 and it says 20, but I'm pretty sure it's hotter than that. About 340, 345, close to 350. So we're going to go ahead and put in our colorant, and again, this is the black and blue side. So we're going to go ahead and start with, let's do 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let's start with 10. I'm pretty sure we're going to add more though. There's that black mixing in there. Pretty sharp, pretty thick. I think that's pretty good, actually. It's almost smoky a little bit. That'll be an interesting mix on the one side of the Chatterbait. Let's just verify that that's where we want it. Yeah, it's a little bit smoky. Let's just add 2 more drops. So 12 drops total. And I'm using dead on black. And then we're going to go ahead and use some royal blue from Lureworks Poly Glitter 0.040 hex. And we're going to go ahead and put a bunch in there. So let's go ahead and use we'll use the pinch, a little pinch from Amazon. I don't know if you guys can see that. It's kind of funny, pinch. So we're going to go ahead and use that. We're going to go 1, 2, 3. Okay. Now, he's got glitter all over the place, all over me. Now let's mix this up. And while we're mixing this up, I'm going to go ahead and start heating up the next plastic, which is already made. And I've got a bunch here. I'm going to actually cook this up and let's see how dark this is. It's some leftover plastic I had from some other stuff. So we're going to go ahead and see how that comes out. So here's our black and blue. And again, very tough to see on camera, but you can probably see it on my knife. A lot of blue flake. Beautiful saturation. I think that's going to be perfect. It's not super dark, like super dark, but it's black. You can tell it's black, and when it's thick on the body of the bait, it'll be dark, real dark, and it'll be a little bit thinner where in the thin spots. But the blue came out good too. So there's that, ready to go. Let's get our other plastic ready to go, and we need to make sure that when you do a laminate, that both your plastics are very close in temperature. I'd say within probably less than 10 degrees, so I'd say probably 5 is what you want to shoot for. So we're going to keep an eye on this. I've got the other one going. I'll bring you back when I've got the other one heated up, and we'll mix that up just to make sure that the color is right. So we are getting close. So we've got black and blue heated up real hot. I'm going to put some clamps on this mold real quick. We are going to make a note that the back is this way and the belly is this way. So let's keep that in mind. I'm going to try to lean you guys just a little bit here, just so then that way my injector doesn't hit the camera. There we go. Okay, back you off there just a little bit. And I think our silver is almost ready. It's like a darker silver color. It says 340, 336, 340. I believe the black and blue is probably about the same. Yep, very close. So I'm just going to go ahead and knock down any air bubbles that are in each one with a blowtorch, just to make sure that we don't have any air bubbles in our plastic. Looks pretty clean. Just gonna hit it one more time. Okay, that's my preferred method. That's just what I like to use. We're using an N2 dual injector. I'm putting the block on now. I'm going to have to remove my light on the top of my camera, so just give me 1 second here. Okay, here we go. So we are going to take our two colors, pull them into our injector, get a little bit of air in that silver. That's okay. We'll bleed it out right here. Always bleed out your injector. Make sure you get all the air out of it. Black is already spewing, but the silver has not spewed yet, so we're just going to keep pushing it until we see plastic. Come on. There it is. Okay, so they're both bled out, both close. Now I want the black on the back and the silver on the belly, so here we go. Okay, that one's filled. Top off the sprue, be very careful. Next, this injector is very stiff. That's why I'm having a hard time with it. Let's do our last cavity. It's full. Top off the injector. Top off the sprue, since that whole sprue came out with it. I don't know why it just did that to me. But we're just going to go ahead and top it off with the rest of the black. Make sure we get enough plastic in there. That was a very poor injection on my part. But we're good. I got a camera in my face. I think that has something to do with it. But when we pulled that block out, I think you guys noticed when I pulled the block out, this one, the whole sprue actually came out with it. So that's interesting. All right, so we're gonna let these cool down a little bit and cure up. I'll come back, we'll open it up and take a look, and then I'm going to put them in a water bath for a little bit before we actually put it on the Chatterbait to see how it looks. Well, I'm pretty excited about this. Let's see how these came out. I haven't opened it up yet, so this is going to be a surprise for you just as much as it is a surprise for me. And after that one shot there and the block fell off that one time, I'm not really too thrilled about how that went, but let's just see what the block looks like real quick, because I think these two colors are kind of a perfect matchup. Oh yeah, that's gonna look sweet. That is gonna look very good. If you guys can see that or not, I'll see if I can get it to focus. There it goes. It's that dark silver color, that black and blue. That's going to look fantastic. All right, so let's put this back together the right way. And let's go ahead and open this up. Hope you guys are ready for this, because I am super ready for this. Here we go. Oh yeah. Yep. Now, the one thing I can tell you right now already off the bat is this one did awesome. So I did the hook slot deletes on the bottom, so it's solid on the belly. But let's take this sprue off. Look at this bait. So cool. Now, The laminate did pretty well. The black and blue stayed right there, and it's got a perfect lateral line down the center. When you get towards the tail, it started to creep up a little bit. So we got a little bit of black and blue in the tail, but mostly silver in that bottom tail. So lamination wise, this did amazing. Awesome job. So that's what we're trying to accomplish right there. Good color combo too. I love that dark silver, but that black on the back has got a little bit of translucency to it on the top right there where that hook slot is. Probably can't see it, but it's got a little bit of translucency, so it's pretty sweet. So I cannot wait to try this bait. So the second one is when the hook, the actual thing fell out, and what it looked like it did is it mixed, which is kind of cool. So mostly black and blue up here. The lateral line went down a little bit, but the dark silver still got in there, and it looks like it mixed a little bit with the tail. So it kind of looks unique. It looks very natural, like it was meant to be, but it really wasn't. So that one came out pretty neat too. And then the last one did a pretty good job and came out the way that we wanted to, just like the first one. Perfect lateral line. The black and blue stayed on top, and the gray, the dark silver there, stayed on the bottom. So that did a really, really good job. That's awesome, guys. I'm so excited about this. Look at that. Isn't that cool? So awesome. But the amazing attention to detail with these is just phenomenal. Phenomenal. I see these little humps right here. I'm assuming that gives the tail a little bit more action. So, but look at those tiny little paddles. Do you see what I was talking about? Very cool. Very, very cool. I think those are going to be amazing flapping behind that chatterbait. Okay, I think we're ready. I've got my 2 cups heated up, both at about 350. I've got my dual injectors, an N2 dual injector. I've got my injector thing put there. I'm not going to drop too much plastic because the last time I did, it was just too much. I don't think we're going to need that much for these molds, or for this mold. So I'm just going to bleed off until I see some plastic come out of the gray side here. There it goes. Okay, so we're equal. Bled off. We are going to do the black on the back part of the mold. We are going to steadily push down. I'm pushing down right now until it stops. Do not put any more if you can help it. Okay, I'm going to very delicately put the next one down. That one's filled as well. Okay, go to the next one. All right. Just going to top off the sprues. Okay, and that's it. Typically I bleed off the injectors, which I probably should, just so it's less plastic inside those tubes to take out later. And now we wait until those cure up, and I'm just going to go ahead and top off these sprues. I have no idea how much they're going to drink. There we go. We'll let those set up and cure. And then we'll come back and take a look and see what we got. So let's get a little bit cleaned up here so that we can take a look at these. I'm just going to set these off to the side, get this stuff out of the way. And let's take a look at these. Now the sprues, they sucked in a little bit, but not too much. So it looks like if you filled up the sprues with enough plastic, you'll probably be okay. But let's take a look at what we created, guys. Oh, I hear the hook inserts falling out. Oh man, look at those. So they came out as I would expect. The deletes work perfectly on the belly. Perfect lateral line. Let me zoom you in here. perfect lateral line for between the gray or the dark silver and the back. And that is a perfect bait right there. Look at that. That is fantastic, guys. That is amazing. Look how clean that came out. Oh, the detail. Look at that. That is so cool. Black tail in the back, silver tail in the back. That's fantastic. That's going to be a cool bait. So, let's get the other two out and see what they did. Looks like the second one mixed a little bit near the tail, but that's okay. It gives it a very natural effect, but it's still got a pretty good lateral line down to the middle. You can tell the separation between the colors, but a little bit mixed in here. It's kind of cool. I like it. Like I said, makes it look more natural. I like when laminates actually don't come out perfect, because in a world that we live in, things are not perfect. Look at this one. Somehow this one got a little dash of silver up top. That looks cool. And the rest of it kind of split pretty evenly. Back here, it kind of mixed a little bit, but man, that looks so natural. I love it. So, we made up a couple of them. What we're going to do now is just talk about what we're going to do, or we're going to put one of these on Adam's Chatterbait and see what this thing looks like. Alright, so for all intents and purposes, I'm just going to take one of the perfectly done ones with the perfect lateral line and perfect separation, even though I prefer the other ones that have the mix a little bit, because I think they look more natural. But what we're going to do is we're going to take Adam's Chatterbait here, and we are going to run this thing down through the center of the bait. And a good thing to do would be to hold up the bait to where it's going to lay out first before you actually do it. So it's going to come down to about there. So we want to run that hook down through to about there. So let's go ahead, run our hook down through the center, and start twisting it up through that hook slot. We got it. Now, you could probably play some games here to get this so that the hook would go down a little bit into the hook slot a little farther. And we might do that just to mess around with this one, because I've already put a hole in it, so obviously I'm going to use it probably. But the other thing too is, on the bait, it has eye cavities, so you could put eyeballs on these. For this purpose, we are not going to put eyeballs on right now. I like the way it is without the eyeballs, especially since you already have eyeballs on the Chatterbait. But here is the completed bait. So that hook, and this style of hook on this Chatterbait that Adam made, it's a kind of a, I want to almost call it an EWG. It is a wider gapped hook. So this style Chatterbait is just a little bit different. I'm not sure if any of the other Chatterbaits, I don't have any right now to show, but it could be a little bit different where that hook slot lays down in there. But I can also make that hook lay down in there a little bit better. So let's go ahead and back this out. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of push this down a little farther, and I'm going to bring that hook up into that cavity so it's a little bit lower on the, so then that way the hook sets a little bit closer to that hook slot. And it doesn't have to just fit in the hook slot. It really doesn't have to. You can rig this however way you want it. I think you're going to have better hookup if you have that hook more exposed. But I think if that bass comes down on top of that, this is soft enough up top, and that'll scrunch right down and you'll get him right in the lips. So I don't think it's going to be an issue. But what an awesome bait. Adam, thank you so much for making this Chatterbait for us for this collaboration video. This came out awesome. Thank you, Epic Bait Molds. Thank you, Jason and Amanda, for sending me one of these molds so that we could try this out and make these beautiful, beautiful Chatterbaits. But I'm so impressed by both. Adam does great work, and Epic Bait Molds does great work. This is a hell of a combo. This is awesome. Alright guys, well that's going to wrap it up for today's video. We made these amazing ShadderBait trailers for custom Chatterbait that Adam over at SDG made for us. This thing came out amazing, guys. So awesome. As always, I'm going to put some pictures of this at the end of the video, so make sure you stay tuned for that at the end. Adam, thank you so much. Jason and Amanda, thank you so much from Epic Bait Molds. I will put links in the description where you can go get this stuff. Head on over to Adam, check out his custom lures. Epic Bait Molds, if you don't already know, if you get 3 molds or more, you get 10% off your purchase. So go ahead and check that out. All I can say is thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. And remember, as always, to keep on baiting.